Mark Stoops is on the phone, joining us here on Kentucky Sports Radio. Coach, thank you very much.
How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing great. So we scheduled this earlier in the week, and then, of course, what happened yesterday happened. I just want you to, if you would, walk me through how what occurred yesterday occurred and kind of your thoughts on it.
Yeah. I think yesterday, even the players will tell you, it came from them. It came from conversation in the locker room. I guess it came from conversation throughout the day. I think, obviously, it probably came from them watching TV and seeing what's going on with the NBA and a lot of NFL teams and just, what's going on in our world. And I think it came from several players and them talking to others and conversation in the locker room. And to my knowledge, even talking with the Unity Council when I did with yesterday as we were having conversations, a lot of them walked in and it was new to them. It was new to them at 2:00 when they walked in the building, or 2:15, and they just started having these conversations. And I think to our players' credit, when they heard conversation going on, they said, let's go upstairs, go in the room where we meet, and let's have a conversation about that. And that's when it was not exactly organized, and they just started, to have a conversation in the team room with about 20 of them and guys from the Unity Council, and they started hashing through things. And that is where I walked in, and I was notified, and one of the guys sent word that, they had conversations going on and wanted me to join them. And so I walked in and they were discussing it, because I know I talked with 2 or 3 of them afterwards, and Drake was one of them. He's like, Coach, I walked in and there was just conversation going on in the locker room. And so we went up and just talked about it. So that's a good thing. And I think everybody needs to understand, from our players' perspective, there's hurt and there's hard, feelings nationwide to themselves and to their team. They just want to be a part of the solution. You know what I mean? And I teach them constantly. Well, I don't just say that. It's not a tweet or a quote from me, but I mean, I want to help our players align their beliefs and make them into opportunities. You know what I mean? And they're great kids, and they're hurt. Many of them are just hurt. And so this was not coming from a bad place at all. And I immediately was 100% on board. My message to them always is describe your purpose. Like, what do you want to accomplish from this? Don't just, you can't just walk out, without a message. And I thought they did a wonderful job. Josh Paschal and Luke, of kind of relaying that message, through the press conference, what their team just wanted to be heard. And, I'm proud of them for that.
I thought Josh and Luke were great. Coach. I mean, I really did.
And I also want people to understand, in this isn't about any like one thing. But I think we all understand that there's a movement going on in our country right now, and that there are issues that need to be addressed, social issues. It's not about any one particular incident.
Can I ask you a question?
Our players are hurt. Our African American players are hurt, and and their white teammates are hearing them and listening to them, and I believe we're closer than ever. Because, we're having hard conversations, and people need to do that. And, and that's what we're trying to do. I don't have all the answers. I'm learning. I learn through them. I grow through them, and I want to be a part of it. I just constantly tell them I don't have all the answers, but I want to help you, achieve the goals that you want. And so they have an opportunity to impact people, even if it starts small. And they've said it. They've said it to me. They want to start with themselves. They want to start with us. And we believe we have a strong culture, and we are very united and very close. However, that doesn't mean we can't be better. and we can't better understand each other, and we can't learn and grow and get better. Anybody that's opposed to that, Matt, you have a problem. You know what I mean? Like anybody that doesn't want to be better, that doesn't want to help our society be better, then you got to have something wrong with you. We all can grow, learn, and get better.
Let me ask you a question about you a second, because I've known you since you've been here and gotten to know you a little bit personally, and you're a football guy. You've never been somebody who talks politics or social. That's just not you.
You're absolutely right.
And all this stuff kind of got thrown in, and I've seen you sort of be at the forefront of standing up for your players, wearing the Black Lives Matter shirt downtown, standing with them yesterday. There'd be a lot of coaches, and I think you know this, who might not have acted like that. Has this been a change for you to have to sort of move your mindset from football guy in some ways to having to sort of manage all of this?
100%. You're accurate. And I'm always a stay in my lane guy and just put my head down and go to work and influence these players and help these players and develop them. But I am also big time into developing leaders and into helping these players, and that's all I talk about is helping them develop their character and build character, competence, and consequence. And we have formulas, and we work hard at that. How can I not lead them in this or help them? Or give them that platform. Also, the personal relationships I have with these players is deep, and I don't know. I've never talked about this, but I'll give you an example. If you ask anybody around here in the last 3 or 4 years or whatever, people that know me, they'll know this answer. But if the outside world, if you said who are you close to? All my former players. I've coached a long time. I'm close with a lot of these guys. And I work hard and I build relationships with them. However, when they walk out the door, I feel like they're equipped for the world, and I help them get to that point. And I don't need, like Josh Allen and I are close, but let me tell you, I've talked to Josh probably twice since he's left. Why? He's equipped. He's good. He's good to go. I don't need to hang on to Josh. Josh is good. He knows if he needs anything, he could call me. He'll be the first guy he calls if he needs anything. I'm here for all of my players. But I don't feel the need to hang on to the Josh Allens of the world and ride their coattails. Man, those guys are good. Go do your thing.
Yeah.
We are all so busy. I'm trying to manage 105 guys here right now. That's where my time's at. You know what I mean? And so I turn those guys loose. I don't need to talk to them all the time. They know I'm here. I'm still close to them. I've had guys I coached at Miami 20 years ago. Ed Reed comes here. Ed Reed came here and spent a weekend with me. But I don't talk to him often. I don't feel the need to do that, to hang. You know what I mean? And so everybody's busy. But if you ask me, who are you? Who's the closest player I have ever been to? There's no way you would know the answer to this.
I have no idea.
His name is Alex Montgomery.
Oh, yeah. I remember Alex.
So Alex got hurt again, was drifting away in school, was going to float away. And I wouldn't stand for it. And I brought him in, and I got close to him, and I got to know him even more and got to know him personally better. And he was done playing. It'd be real easy for me just to turn over and go to the next guy. And you start really hearing Alex's story, and Alex had nowhere to go. He really had no family. When he grew up, he woke up one morning and half his siblings were gone. And his grandmother told him, when he asked where his mother was, his grandmother told him, your mom didn't want you. And so he has no one in this world. And I'm his father. And Chantel's his mother. And he's a grown man and doing very good. And to listen to him tell my kids stories about, just simple things. One time, I need to use the car, I got to do this. We're like, and we're like, go walk over across the street, and pick up, Allison, Alyssa, his girlfriend's car, and get it. And he's like, are you crazy? Like, you think I could walk through that neighborhood at 10 o'clock at night and get her car? Like, that, and this was way before any of this movement was going on. And you start hearing that, and you're close to these kids, and you realize the stories that they have. How can you not be affected by it? How can I relate to him if I don't stand up with him right now? You know what I mean? And and then to take it further, then his girlfriend. Okay, his girlfriend, her family disowned her. Why? Because she's dating a black man. So these are my kids. I'm quite sure I'll walk her down the aisle putting things on Twitter to just be, pat on the back. That is so not me. I purposely don't do stuff because I don't want to be viewed that way. But this is personal. This is you know what I mean? These are my people.
Yeah.
These are people that I'm close to, that I love, that are like family to me. And to not make a difference, to not stand with them, it is wrong. And that's just an example of Alex and Alyssa, and they're like kids to me. But what about all my players here? They are too. Some I'm closer to than others, but relationships are a two-way street. But I'm always here for them. And I use that story for Alex because he wasn't a great player. He could have been, but he got hurt. He got hurt again, and he was drifting away. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to lose this kid to the world and just let him get sucked up by it. I'm going to make a difference with him. And I do that for any kid that wants that help. And relationships are two-way streets. That's why, sometimes you're closer than others. But I've gotten so close to him and Alyssa that they're truly family. You know what I mean? They are a brother to my boys. Alex is a brother to my boys, and Alyssa's a sister. And it's like, so how do how can I live with myself if I don't really feel that and live that and be a part of it? And again, I learn every day. I'm so far from perfect in this. But my players know I care. I'll listen to them, and I want to help them and use their platform to just make a positive difference. So all the angry freaking tweets I'm going to get and all the bull crap that people want to, email Mitch Barnhart and Dr. Capilouto and tell how wrong we are and all we want to do is start with ourselves, start with our team, start with our community, and help it be better.
Well, that's a powerful story, Coach. I appreciate it. It feels very weird after hearing that to transition into a football thing. Do you? But
we don't have to. You know what I mean?
We don't have to.
It's important. You know what I mean? And I know you are involved in politics. I'm not. You know what I mean? And you are in touch with a lot of things that I'm not. But I mean, is that story not true? Is what we're doing, is that not important?
To me, I will say for me, Coach,
you have the pulse of a lot of people. And some people like you, some people don't. Some people believe your political views, some people don't. But is that story, is that not social issue? Is that not important? Is that not right?
To me, the most important thing a coach can do is affect those individuals' lives. And you know better than anybody the backgrounds of some of the guys you get. And and to act like – this is what I always say to fans. To act like the only thing that matters is them going and playing football is to short them being human beings. And one of the things I'm proud about you and your coaching staff is you put the human being part just as important as what they do on the field.
Let me tell you one thing. If I have any one talent at all, it's I believe for many, many years is connecting in the pulse of an individual, the pulse of a player. And I'm going to tell you, since this movement, since our march back in the summer, since we're doing this, I can read our team and see, and when I look into their eyes, I'm seeing hurt right now. And that hurts me. And that, I want people to have that awareness. It's not any one single individual thing that happened. But they are hurt, and it's bothering them, and that bothers me. And so it's very evident as I stand with them and talk to them and that there's hurt. And I also want our fans to understand this without fighting them on all they want to be viewed as people, and no athlete across the country wants to feel like they just put on their colors and they're rooted for in that movement, and then after that they have to go back into a box. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're right.
And not be viewed as a human being and as a person. And that hurt is what I see, and I can read it, and I've talked to them about that. And the number one thing they want, is to be viewed as not, and they said this word to me. They don't want to just be viewed as entertainment to people, to our fans, to the community. They are great human beings. And that is where, as a fan base, I'm not here to fray any fan base. We are all, Wildcats, we are united as a team, but understand that if you have a problem with that, then I'm sorry, you have an issue. You have a personal issue that needs to be addressed. Because these are fantastic human beings that just want to be, viewed as good people, as who they are, and not just as players. That's the number one objective. As they talked about things they wanted to accomplish, that was number one.
Well, I have to tell you, Mark, you've been around for quite a few years now, and you've been on this show, and I've talked to you privately. I've never heard you really talk like this before, which tells me kind of how important it is to you, and I want to thank you for doing it and coming on and taking the time.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, we'll talk to you again soon before the season, all right?
Yeah. And, I'm going to catch heck from the media, but you and I did have this plan before that went down yesterday, and that was news. So, but I always, do, like having conversations with us, and you and I, we get to know each other a long time. Just like anybody, we're going to have different views on things at times, but I like being on the show. It gives me the opportunity to try to truthfully express what we're going through, and I'll be glad to stay on longer. I don't have to go if you want.
Well, the problem is we have these breaks. I tell you what, could I call you back at 11:05 to talk football, or is that pause? Are you busy?
Yeah. Call me back at 11:05. We'll talk some ball.
That sounds good. Thank you, Mark. We'll take a break and be right back. This is KSR.